Alright, so this will be, I guess I'll title it What I'm Thinking About Writing Next. Uh, I have a franchise idea, which I guess ultimately I'm going to call the Warlands. And it'll be just, alternate reality Earth kind of thing, just and no magic at all. So just straight up a history reflexive, type situation. I'm still kind of working on how it's going to start. So, but I got this idea that there's this invading, conquering army, and what they do is everybody there believes in swearing by an oath. And so when you take an oath, the 13th oath, you're kind of obligated to do it. This invading, conquering army rounds up all these guys and tells them, all right, you have three options. We can either put you to death, you can become a slave, or you will be pressed into service and join us as a war slave, or a battle slave kind of thing, a gladiator, in a sense. And it's like these guys would swear by an oath, but they basically, yeah, they would be chained up by their necks, long lines of guys, and then when they would go to battle, they would be, the chains would be removed, the collars are left on, and the guys, like, by this point they don't even have armor. They are given a weapon, and if they're lucky, they'll get a shield. But otherwise, it's just a lot of them just like they're just barely armed, and a U shape of guys form up who are like heavy infantry and with like just big shields, and literally just like push these guys. So imagine just a line of these guys, and just pushes them forward into the enemy formation. And the enemy, enemies nations by this point. I was thinking like just primitive medieval to like pre-Roman type get-ups. These guys have shield walls, some spears, a little bit of horse. You form a shield wall and your horse kind of goes around it, kind of thing. But this tactic of just like having this mass wall of guys who are desperate, like they have to fight you and engage you, and not only that, but it's like they're being pushed into these guys. So it's like the casualty rate is extremely high. Um, and just people who are fools to get it, just to think they can survive it, and just lucky ones and desperate ones. But like it's this crazy mass, but it's just being pushed into the thing. It's a meat grinder effect. And I just thought, God, it'd just be amazing. But if I can't do that, then I'm just going to go for like an Alexander tactic and just have a bunch of some phalanxes, some crazy ass Spartan warriors, heck, since that's taken off. But the they meet like how much do I want to reveal the story? But anyways, uh, there's going to be like a lot of battles going on. That's why it's the Warlands. And they're going to talk about the Book of War, which will be some mythical thing. But anyways, so yeah, I'm also doing this right now to record it for myself. So like later on, when I do start thinking and getting serious into writing this, I can watch this new video and be like, oh, that's what I was thinking about. Um, anyways, the thing I really wanted to capture was that I'm going to have a legion going on, and the legion is going to be made up of guys who are like veterans, but they're also destitute workers. It's a very economically depressed result of like this what has happened in the land, and so a legion, this guy goes around recruiting guys into like a foreign legion type sense, and these guys are basically skilled craftsmen in all these different areas, but now they're training to be soldiers. So there's just a wide variety of characters, and which would be really hard to express the personalities in text. So it'd be better as a movie. But anyways, um, what I was thinking is, so I want to like create this really crazy scene where I have a guy who's like, they say, hey, well, who are you? And he's like, oh, I'm Philip, second barber. I'm part of the barber corps, the barbershop corps, and um, I'm just thinking, and it's expanding my mind, this idea, this concept of that this legion would be, in a sense, a city on itself, that it's a mobile city. It's populated heavily by men. Uh, there's wagon loads of whores following behind them, and that's it. Otherwise, everything else is provided for by the men, by them or by themselves. there may be some washerwomen, camp followers too. And ultimately, just the real extreme thought that's entered my mind is that, well, no, they have huge wagons. They have huge, like, just kind of caravan wagons, like, wagon trains you'd see going, pushing across the Old West. But it was families, it was their families they were taking along, and yeah, they were just a mobile army, which I think would just be totally bizarre and amazing, and I think I could make it work out too. Just I think an amazing, crazy ass visual to have. But what's going to happen is that this legion's going to go through, and they're going to be traveling to different areas, and they're going to be like, okay, well, we're entering into a desert, so it's a dry climate, so we're going to practice water conservation. Therefore, nobody above this rank needs to shave anymore. Or really, it was like, nobody needs to shave. You just need to get your beards trimmed. And then, by the way, the beard will help also protect your face, keep you from the sun. And all these guys are like be kind of happy because they like not having to go shave. The barbers are excellent daggermen. So that's another thing is that I got this idea that because of in the U.S. military there's marksmanship ranges. So I got this idea, this crazy idea now. Well, have that in like with different weapons. Like with a sword, you have 3 different levels of of ability. You have beginners, which means like, or a sword, you know how to handle a sword, and you know how like to more or less protect yourself with using a sword against different things. Like if somebody came at you with a sword, or somebody came at you with a spear, or like you knew how to defend yourself. And that was beginner. Then the intermediate, in the middle rank, was or like expert, rank was you knew how to handle a sword and you knew how to defend yourself against somebody else who was like an expert in the other weapons that faced you, and it was like pretty much all the weapons kind of thing. And it was like, yeah, so basically you really had to practice to get up to expert at sword, and yeah, that was the middle rank. The top one would be master rank. And for that one, you would have to beat somebody or beat other people who are of master rank with other weapons. And by the way, all the other weapons are like, hands, daggers, swords, maces, axes, spears, bows and arrows, kind of, and what else? But just there's a whole range of weapons. Like whenever you go walk around into the museums, what kind of weapons do you see? So that kind of thing. But and so you're going to have that effect. I just think people in the military now would read in like I so understand what this guy is saying, and like I so could see this too. Transport everything that we just have today, but into a medieval setting. It's a mobile city. But ultimately, what these guys are going to do is they're going to be traveling around, and they're going to get fed up with this. They end up becoming mercenaries, and they decide to become or to form a nation, and they decide to form a democracy. And they come upon this idea of a democracy in a different way, and so they have a different like form. So this is like another video I posted. That'll be like one of the things in Warlands. Another one is like, and I realize now that what it would be, the result of the government would be kind of like an Chinese Chinese style of government where it's you have like a college that educates workers or the government officials kind of thing, but they're also essentially part of the nobility still. But I wrote a story about that, and so that's one thing. But also like demonstrate and show like a feudal system, and just all these different things. But I gotta figure out the religion. So I realize that there's got to be religion everywhere kind of thing, but I gotta make it work. So.